One of the things that I understand the modelling says is that roughly, and it's obviously very, very approximate this, one can count on there being around 1,000 cases for every death that you have, which would mean that there's potentially now about 55,000 cases. Does that feel right to you?
That is what we've tried to get a handle on that in SAGE, and we put all the modelling information together. That's a reasonable sort of ballpark way of looking at it. I don't think, it's not more accurate than that.
And as I understand it, prior to the measures that were announced yesterday, your working assumption was that the virus was doubling, the number of cases was doubling every 5 to 6 days. But because of the very dramatic social distancing measures that have now been announced, it is possible that we could see the number of new cases actually start to reduce in 3 weeks' time. Is that what the hope is?
You would expect to see an effect of any of the measures after about 2 to 3 weeks. In terms of the sorts of presentations that we're picking up. Obviously the effect will start sooner, but you won't see it and be able to measure it easily for 2 to 3 weeks.
And judging on the evidence from other parts of the world and other countries that have followed this very sort of dramatic suppression and lockdowns in different flavours, does that mean that there is a possibility, of course we can't predict anything, that the cases could actually start to fall, the new cases could start to fall in 2 to 3 weeks?
Yes. That's what you'd like to see. The interventions that we've made, so these have all been modelled out, and it is just modelling, so we just need to be aware of that. These have been modelled out to say what effect they would have on the peak. So the first one that we introduced, case isolation, you would expect to bring the peak down by about 20%. The second one, of whole household quarantine, you'd expect to bring down by about 25%. The social shielding of the elderly has less of an effect on the peak, but a much bigger effect on the mortality, where you might expect it to be between 20 or 30%. And general social distancing measures, which, as you said, are quite extreme ones that have now been introduced, would be expected to reduce the peak by about 50%. Now, they're not necessarily all completely additive, but it tells you that together you should expect those to have a very significant effect on peak, and we should start to see the rates come down in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And the ambition in any outbreak is to try to get the R0 value down below 1, and that's the value at which anyone, on average, what one person would do in terms of infecting others. And at the moment, that R0 value is somewhere between 2 to 3, and the aim is to get that below 1, at which time things start to then decrease.